Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL Podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, hello, DCL Podcast fans. Stephen Wake.
Hello.
We are doing a couple snippets on our cruise. Just got off our short London escape with Adventures by Disney and got on the beautiful Disney Dream. You can hear the kids having a good time in the background, and we're sailing out of Southampton, iconic port, first time we've been here. So what's it like? What was it like getting back to England? What were some of the things you were looking forward to seeing? What were some of the things you enjoyed about the short escape we did?
Looking forward to seeing the fancy hotel.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing Buckingham Palace. We had a private tour at the Tower of London, which was actually really, really cool. One of those things that I read through it and I was like, I've been there. I don't know that I care that much. But then when we did it, being there by ourselves and with the guides that we had, super cool, totally amazing, lots of good information. Loved it.
Yeah, stayed at a really nice hotel, the Waldorf Hilton, right down in the Covent Garden area, which I'm not
the theater district.
Yeah, I'm not even going to date when the last time I was in London, so it was a long time ago.
Me too, actually.
Let's just put it that way. Anyways, well, that's not true. We were there with our kids, but this is the first time we actually had a chance to explore and see some of the things off our first Norway cruise, which is 2016, but that was a long time ago. Anyways, but yeah, so we stayed at the Waldorf Hilton. It was in Covent Garden, kind of the theater district. It was kind of cool to wander around and explore that.
It was just great to see it all.
Yeah, great group of people that we had with us. Probably about 37 people on the short escape. Some of them were doing other things. Some of them just came over. One of them, a mom and her
grandma and granddaughter.
And we're going to move just a little bit to get out of the wind. Yeah, so, but they came all the way over to London to do the short escape, just to go and eat at the Black Dog. And so if you're a Taylor Swift fan, you'll know. Maybe you know what that is. It's beyond me, but she got her bracelet from the Black Dog for Taylor Swift and everything like that. And they were super excited to do the whole ABD with us. And then you had a couple hours on the last day, and they went over there at 4 o'clock and had dinner.
They did?
Yeah. So you never know who you're going to run into on these different adventures that you get to do. But I'll go back to a couple different things. We ate dinner in a pub the first night after going down a jet boat down the Thames, and it was super cool because I will ruin it. I don't know how many people are going to do this, but they had Sherlock Holmes showed up in the middle of our pub dinner and played with the kids, and it was...
solve a mystery with the kids?
It was
He was awesome.
Yeah, that made the night for me.
I mean, our kids were significantly older than the majority of the kids that were part of it, and even our kids were like, wait,
yeah,
I'm going to get my hint.
Yeah.
They knew.
Yeah, it was super fun. But then the next day, it was a full day where we got up, did the Tower of London. We were the first ones there, which is kind of those special things that ABD does.
It was
Gets you in there. Cool. We got to meet a beefeater, and he was our guide initially, kind of told us about the Tower of London. The beefeater's kind of an iconic London, what am I looking for? Just, like kind of a symbol of London, if you think about London.
Our local tour guide kept saying, people ask me what makes London, London, and the beefeaters are something that makes London, London.
Exactly, right? Like the red double-decker buses and the black taxis and everything else. What was really cool was a couple different things. I didn't realize, the guards are actually active duty soldiers, the one with the big bear.
The palace guards.
Yeah, the palace guards with the big bear skin hats. But the beefeaters that guard the Tower of London, which is actually a palace that is part of the royal palace kind of genre or whatever. So they actually have a residency there for the king or queen to stay at. But they're they have all served and retired from active duty, and then they can apply and do this, and they actually live there. Their families live there.
They live there with their families.
Yeah, so they're kind of coming and going, but it's kind of like...
Oh, and the guide that we had said that he lives in the most haunted of the guard residences. Right,
which after however many thousands of beheadings that they've had over the years, you're probably bound to have a couple ghosts living there.
Around.
It's still hanging around. He was a character. It was super fun. Sarah was our guide that day, local guide. She was incredible. She's a blue badge guide, which means she's gone through training, she's been certified, and she does all different kinds of tours and whatnot. she was just full of so much knowledge and history. And once again, I think that we talked about during our Costa Rica one, the thing that we loved about it was the fact that you get to know the people, you get to know the history of England. And even though we know, a lot of us know a lot of the history, it's really good to hear it from a local and hear kind of their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So,
exactly.
And when we were at the Tower of London, I mean, this is what was super cool. She brought us all together after we went and saw the Crown Jewels, and she told the story of King Henry VIII. And if anybody's seen Six, the musical, basically she played out Six, the musical, with a bunch of different people from the tour group.
Pulling kids out of the group and moms, yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, one of our ABD tour guides, was King Henry VIII. She went through...
It was very funny.
What are the 6 wives? There's... not their names, but how does it go again?
Divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived.
There we go, yeah. Just like, so if you've seen Six the Musical, she played with those same words.
And I thought that was just the musical. I didn't realize that was something that people say.
Yeah. So, anyways, after that, we, unfortunately, we couldn't go to St. Paul's, which was going to be part of the tour. So they pivoted. We went up on the London Eye. I've never been, if you've been to Orlando, you've seen that huge Ferris wheel as you're headed to Walt Disney World. The London Eye is basically the same thing. That was, I don't know if you know, ice cream cones. If you hear some crunching in the background, that's what it is. But yeah, we went up on that, and just amazing to see all the different sites. And once again, Sarah told us a lot of the history, and we got a little one-on-one time to talk to her about the series The Crown and kind of her thoughts about the monarchy and everything else. And she's a big proponent of it. She was up at 4 a.m. to watch the coronation of King Charles. So. Just a really fun
time. Stood in the queue to pay her respects to Queen Elizabeth when she passed.
Yeah. So, and then after that, we walked through St. Regent's Park.
St. James Park,
which takes you up to Buckingham Palace, and along the way we got some great shots with Big Ben, with Westminster Abbey, and then also Buckingham Palace as well. So
it was super quick,
mm-hmm.
but it was great. Again, like what we said before with the Costa Rica, the true value, I guess, with the ABDs is that it's all booked and the transportation in between, and so it's efficient. It's
mm-hmm.
efficient use of your vacation time.
Yeah, we did a lot in one day, or we did a lot in the 2 days to see a lot of London, and totally appreciated today when we got up. We had breakfast, and then they whisked us in the coach, all of us that were on the tour, over to Southampton. They gave us a fast pass, a transfer to get on the ship, and they'd already, because of the traffic in London, we weren't here right as they were starting to board, so they'd already started to board, but basically there was a multitude of people out in front waiting to get in.
And we just went right past them.
We went right past them, went through security, and from the time we got off the coach to get out of the ship was probably about 15 minutes? Max. Yeah, so good to be back on the Disney Dream.
For sure.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that no, we love the Fantasy. The Fantasy's awesome, but it's kind of sad to see the Fantasy's going to be here next year, which is exciting because it kind of fits Europe, but it's kind of cool to see the Dream over here too.
It is cool to see the Dream. I still like the magic.
Yeah, give me the magic, the wonder, the Dream, and the Fantasy. Love those 4 ships.
For sure.
Yeah. From there, though, so we are off. We're sailing. We just had the sail away party. We're heading past the Isle of Wight, out the mouth of from Southampton, and then we'll be on our way up through the English Channel and towards Stavanger, which is going to be our first stop in Norway, where we have
after a day at sea.
After a day at sea, it's going to be probably pretty cool tomorrow.
It's going to be cool. It's a little chilly.
Yeah, but not bad.
Not bad. No, not like wearing a coat today.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be later.
Yeah, and what's actually kind of fun is, so we brought the kids here in 2016, but they really don't remember it a lot. So when we asked them, what cruise do you guys want to do? We're looking at all the different options. And Andrew, our oldest, who is graduating, said he wanted to do
Norway,
do Norway again, because they didn't remember it. And Alex, he remembers a little bit, but Alex doesn't remember any of it. So it's all kind of a new thing. But we're actually doing the exact same thing that we did in Stavanger, which is taking the
boat up the fjord.
Taking a board up the ice fjord. You get to go by Pulpit Rock, which there's no way you're getting me up there with not without some kind of guardrails, which they're not going to put up there because it's Europe, and they're like, you know what, you're on your own, dude. Yeah, we don't need lawyers like the States, man. If you're stupid enough to go up there and fall, you can't sue us. That's on you. I can say that, Christy. Sorry. I know you're not that kind of lawyer. Anyways, not that there's that kind of lawyer or anything like that. It's just more that's the mantra of the States, right?
It is, yes.
Keep everybody safe all the time, otherwise we're gonna
get
sued. Anyways, all right, I will leave that at that. But so yeah, that's what we've got planned in Stavanger tomorrow. Kind of excited about tomorrow because
relax.
You're doing.
It's been a crazy whirlwind of leaving home and getting here, and so tomorrow it'll be nice to have just a relaxing day. I have massage booked, spa day. We have wine tasting in the afternoon,
and then a good dinner.
Yeah, nice relaxing day.
And then not too early on the Stavanger day to get up and do that either. So the good thing about this cruise, if you're like us and you like a sea day at the end and a sea day at the beginning, that's what it does. So sea day to begin with, four ports in a row. And then sea day to kind of kick off the cruise, or to end the cruise, and call it a day. So I think that's about it. Anything else about that ABD that you want to talk about?
It was after Costa Rica. It was ABD. It's like an ABD snippet, right? It's just you kind of get a quick picture of what it's like with the activities and the efficiency of it all, the nice hotels, the kind of summer camp for adults, like, you know what I mean? Like where you're, there's activities planned that you're all together, which is great.
Right. And I'm going to give a huge shout out. I think Tim and his wife are heading on to do a British Isles tour. There's the Norwegian Dawn. I could see it. They left before us, and now they're out ahead of us, and we're kind of chasing it around the Isle of Wight. They are doing a British Isles cruise. I think that's something that we started thinking about. Like, we had that booked a couple years ago. COVID happened.
2020,
yeah, and then we never really kind of came back to it, but I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
We need to maybe put that on the schedule.
Some good, lazy, fun port days around the British Isles, Scotland, Ireland, and England
see
itself.
Some stuff that we haven't seen.
Yeah. This I was going to say. Okay, this was going to close out with ABD. So, most of them are a lot longer, and you kind of wonder, like, can you really, like, make a connection with anybody over a 2-day period when you're, like, with this group? And we had the best dinner with a couple last night with their kids. Yeah. So our kids are older. Their kids were, I think, 5.
They were like 5, 7, 9.
5, 7, 9 or something like that.
10.
Yeah, something along those lines. And just super fun couple from Atlanta. One worked for the CDC. The other one was like a kind of an ER surgeon and everything like that. And we just laughed for a couple hours at dinner. It was super fun. It was a great way to kind of end it. Then Anawake and I and Andrew went and walked around Covent Garden and
the neighborhood,
watch the nightlife. Wanted to pop into a pub, but we were so full from dinner.
No way. There was no space.
There was no space for another pint.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
But anyways, all right, I'm going to leave it with that. We will be back probably sometime in between our Norway ports and talk about what we've been doing.
Sounds good.
All right, so from there, we are on our way to Norway, and we'll see you there.
Bye.
Cheers, everybody. Well, we are on our last day at sea. This is Steve.
And Anawake.
And it's been a fun cruise to Norway. Absolutely beautiful. Looking out, it's like the Med as far as how flat it is in the North Sea.
Today's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the last time we were up here.
Right. It's kind of the same situation where the last day was sunny and warm, and yesterday was pretty stormy.
Yeah.
And high seas and lots of, staggering down the hallway. So this is a nice change.
So we're just to give you just a quick sip as well, do just a quick overview on some of the things that we did. Big takeaways, Norway can be, the cruise before us was cold but sunny. Just looking at Joe's pictures and that was ahead of us. I don't know if it was totally cold, but it was definitely cooler on the deck. They were wearing, I remember seeing a picture.
Oh yeah, like covered in blankets.
Covered in blankets, stuff like that.
Yeah, probably not 80, but yeah.
Right. But for us, there was kind of a weather system kind of moving through. And
with us.
Yeah, so it was drizzly at times and rainy at times. And then our last port day, they actually had to cancel it because they said the winds and the storm system was going to be too strong, gale force winds down the channel that they need to sail down to be able to dock the ship in Haugesund. So they canceled it, and we ended up finished up with 2 sea days.
We've never had that happen. Yep. So it was kind of a...
Yeah, we made it to Castaway every time.
I know. Now we're Yeah, this is a whole new experience for us, but
Right.
everybody loves a sea day.
So just be prepared if you're heading north on either Norway or Iceland cruise next year.
Right.
And the other thing is, I hate to say this, but pack like Alaska, kind of layers.
Right.
Definitely bring a raincoat.
Definitely bring a raincoat and warm things.
What's the saying in Norway?
There's no bad weather, there's just bad clothing.
Yes.
And we experienced that.
I think we did okay.
We did okay.
Yeah.
We could have done better.
We could have done better, but let's just kind of go over a little bit. So it was a 7-day cruise, left out of Southampton, sea day. First day was in Stavanger, which we'd been to before. And I will say this, even though it wasn't sunny the whole time, with the clouds and sometimes drizzly rain and everything like that, I just have my iPhone. And I got some amazing shots just with the
beautiful.
light and being able to see the scenery the way we were able to see it. It was awesome.
It was gorgeous, yeah.
And it kind of worked the first 2 port days. It was kind of drizzly and a little overcast in the morning, and then it got nice in the afternoon.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe expect that a little bit next year as well. But Stavanger, what do we do?
We went on a Fjord cruise. So basically just smaller boat up the fjord. It was cloudy enough that we didn't see Pulpit Rock. We went underneath it. And then we stopped at actually a cool little place that you can only get to by boat. And had Norwegian pancakes and coffee
Right. Yeah, it was the same thing that we did last time with the kids, and I was like, should we do this again? But I absolutely loved it.
We totally enjoyed it,
Yeah, it was nice to be able to see the fjord itself.
Relaxing, pretty scenery.
Beautiful scenery. They take you underneath Pulpit Rock. They go by a couple waterfalls. There's a cave. Where they talked a little bit about the trolls living in the caves and helped help build the caves and everything like that. And then just a really scenic place. The place we stopped at this time was much nicer than the last time.
Yeah.
Not that it was bad last
totally
time.
Fine
This one was
it was
beautiful.
Really cool.
Cool little inlet, little building right on a beach, and we'll try and get some pictures up for Christy and Lake to put up on podcast as well, or on the Facebook page. But yeah, so good day. And then we got back and we just kind of wandered about Stavanger. Unfortunately, let's throw this out there. Unfortunately, the first time we were here on the Magic, we parked right downtown. There is a port dock right downtown. Sometimes Disney will park right downtown there. They did last week. Ours didn't. We were about 30 minutes away. There was a Costa ship there. And there was a lot of angst in our Facebook group whether Disney was going to provide transportation or not.
And they did.
And they did. And that's what most people said, that in the past that's what they did. And they ran a bus every 15 minutes or 30 minutes maybe for people that didn't have port adventures. Or once you got done with your port adventure like ours, which left from right downtown, we got off the little boat and then we had
we were able to wander around and go catch the bus.
Plenty of time to wander around and then catch the bus back. So really fun day in Stavanger. The next day was Ålesund,
I think.
Ålesund, Alesund. Beautiful little town, parked right downtown. That's the beauty of Norway. We were the only ship in town.
Yeah,
Kind of
cool.
had the place to ourselves. Didn't feel overwhelmed at all as far as plenty of things to do, to walk around and do if you just wanted to do that. We booked a kayak tour later in the afternoon by ourselves, just through Uteguiden, Uteguidon.
I think Ian, but
Ian? Okay,
so.
GUI.
But they were great.
They were amazing. Look them up if you're coming up here. That's who Disney used. And for half the price, we did an afternoon kayak tour. The same thing they did. Not to take away from if you want to book through Disney, because we probably would have, but it just worked
full,
out.
I think, right?
Nah, this one wasn't full. It was yeah, maybe it was.
I think it was full.
Yeah, maybe we missed out on that. There's a lot of platinum people on here. Seen a couple pearl, but mostly platinum. A lot of gold, a lot of silver as well. So this is definitely a cruise for
a repeat cruiser.
Cruiser cruise, yes. But yeah, so we got off, and Anwick and I walked around. The kids slept in. We texted them, and then they joined us, and we did the kayak tour. What did you think of that?
It was really cool.
Yeah, it was definitely. Everybody did a really good job. If you've never kayaked before, it might have been a little bit more intense because we did go ways.
It was wavy. Yeah, it was.
It wasn't that wavy. It was just we went a ways.
We did go ways. I guess that's it. There's not really current in the fjords, they were saying.
Because it's so big.
Because it's so big, but there is the waves, because of the wind, the waves are more of an issue.
Right. But we stayed along the shore, and
it was fine. It was
three fun guys, get to learn a little bit about Norway, talk to them as we paddled along, and at one point Henrik pulled up a jellyfish.
Jellyfish. There are two kinds of jellyfish. One you can touch, one you should not.
And
touch the purple one.
He found the one that you can touch and handed it around, and it was pretty cool.
It was cool.
And then Philip pulled up some... I wanted to try that.
I don't know. It didn't get passed around by us. We got missed.
Pulled up some seaweed and got everybody to try it. Everything else they could.
Our kids will say it was just salty.
Yeah, but it would have been kind of cool to do that. Then came back on board, and yeah, that was it. And then the next day was a big day for... They try and do it next year. I'd have to look at it. It goes to Norwegian Fjords, and I'm not sure exactly where that is, but next year is the last year where the ships can go up. The big ships can go up the fjord. I'm not sure what the restriction is. I'll have to look it up.
Right, yeah.
But the big ships like the Dream and the Fantasy are not going to be able to go up eventually into the fjords past next year. And I'm not sure what the restriction is. If it's an LNG thing, if it's a size thing. But we went up to Olden, so it was kind of like, think about if you've been on Alaska, Inside Passage, just this beautiful fjord, all the way up to the end of one of the inlets to a little town called Olden.
At about 5:30, we entered the fjord, and they had coffee and hot chocolate and donuts and sounds, all that kind of stuff up on deck for everybody. So it's fun.
It was fun. I mean, there's a lot of crew members out there taking pictures.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been that kind of cruise which I get a kick out of, where, like, even the guys that are the maintenance people are stopping to take pictures of what's going on past us. It's kind of cool. Like, it's fun for everybody.
So we got to Olden. We booked a cruise. I can't even describe it. Look for the pictures. It'll be up on Facebook. You can follow. I started an Instagram account called DCL Adventures. You can follow that along if you want to go look at some of the pictures. Just stunning scenery.
Right.
The ship literally parks next to the road.
Yeah.
In the fjord. You get off, you get on the bus, it's right there on the road. There's like a little town past it. But we went and did, we took the Lowen Skylift up and then hiked around Mount Hoven.
Yes.
And tell them what we did.
Basically just hiked up. It was like a 2 kilometers up, 2 kilometers down. Just amazing views the whole way up. Not super strenuous hike.
It was steep, but
not like big wide path, gravel. Like not. We got like 1,300 warnings about it being uneven terrain, and it wasn't really that bad.
No.
We got probably like 3/4 of the way up, and that's when we definitely learned that there's no bad weather, there's just bad clothing, because that's when the wind picked up, and then it started to rain, and like on the way up, everyone was stopping to take pictures and stopped to look, this is so pretty, and on the way down, everyone just put their head down, and like we were like cows to the barn, going back to
as fast as you could,
back to the little restaurant place.
Amazing scenery from there, looking down over the fjords, looking down towards the Dream, where she was parked by Olden.
Right.
Great guide from Portugal that kind of talked about the history of Norway, kind of about hiking in the fjords and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then as we came back down, like Anway said, bring a rain.
Was she the one that told us about the trolls?
Yeah, she told us about the trolls too. That the trolls will be your friends if you don't litter, and they'll help you find your way out of the fjords or the forest.
If you litter, they will make you lost.
They will make you lost. The wind picked up probably about 15 miles per hour. I
don't know.
It was blowing.
It felt like a lot.
Yeah, it was. Felt like ice pellets almost hitting your head as you came back down. But on a clear day, they offer base jumping. They do parasailing. They had one of the amazing servers up in Palo.
Oh, they got a zip line.
Yeah, she went up with her friends because they wanted to do the zip line, but the zip line wasn't running.
Right.
Yeah, because it was just too...
The weather was not good.
Yeah, the weather was not good. So anyways, we did that. We got back, and you and the kids were a little cold.
We were cold. We all came back and showered and took some naps.
Yeah.
But one of the super cool things was, as we were pulling away from the little port...
Well, before you get to that.
Oh, okay.
So they went and did that. It was a 15-minute walk into Olden, and so I was feeling pretty good. So I headed on in. A couple little stores there. They're building a brewery, the Olden Brewery. So that's not open yet, but probably be open next year. But it was fun just to see like a little Norwegian town. There was a beautiful little church with like all the headstones and stuff. It was kind of fun from growing up in Minnesota, or having a history of family from Minnesota, and seeing all the the kind of Norwegian names, the Olsens and all that type of stuff. Yeah, it's kind of amazing how small the world is sometimes when you go and see where your people are from, I guess.
Right.
That's all.
Yes, for sure.
All right, so yeah, a nice little 15-minute hike there and back, and then I got back, we got some food, and then as we sailed away.
Like all the people who lived near the little dock where they were playing music and they were out waving, and somebody had like some big yellow hands that they were waving. It was super fun.
Yeah, they played a bunch of the songs, the Disney songs as we left on the horn, but the funny part was they have to blow the horn three times, and so somebody on shore had an air horn, and they blew it like 3 times, like back at the Dream, and so the Dream came back with one loud blast, and then they came back with just a short little and the Dream went just really
did a little back and forth. It's fun.
I appreciate the humor, but yeah, all the citizens or not all the, but a lot of people were out there waving Norwegian flags and
American flags
and everything else. So it was fun to see that. And then the next day, because we didn't go to Haugesund, what they decided to do, because the weather was so rough out in the ocean, they went into the Hardanger Fjord.
Right, which was also pretty.
And there is I cannot remember the name of the waterfall, but there's a huge waterfall up the Hardanger Fjord, and they made a point of going up there in between 9 and 10, getting there, and they did a 360 around it so everybody could get to see it. Once again, they had hot chocolate and stuff up there for people. It was raining, so there wasn't too many people up there. There was still a lot of people up there, but it was raining pretty hard, so I'm not sure how many people saw it, but it was absolutely stunning. Living next to Multnomah Falls in Portland, this kind of put Multnomah Falls.
It was 3 times the size.
Yeah, 3 times the size, and so just kind of cool to see that. So, and then, obviously that wasn't what they had planned, but holy cow, they packed the day full of stuff.
Yeah. Actually, it was sort of funny because the Olden night, we had Apollo dinner with Andrew, his first adventure there, and while the phone was ringing off the hook because they had added Apollo brunch for the next day, since it was going to be a sea day that it hadn't been planned, people were like, wait, we can book this! So people were calling like crazy.
Yeah, so I guess Paolo has a brunch that you can book also on board, and if they added a brunch on the sea day so that people could...
Right.
If you know what I'm making fun of, you know. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, a lot of people got to do brunch. They offered, Sasha, who was kind of the head waiter up there, offered to put us in whenever we wanted to, but we declined. And it was just nice to have a day to just do whatever you wanted. But they had trivia everywhere. They added additional
drawing stuff.
Show.
Movie during the day.
Yeah. So they had they bent over backwards to give people stuff to do. So a couple highlights. What do you think?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm gonna say, well, the scenery and Paolo with Andrew.
Yeah.
He's been looking forward to that for a long time. It was kind of cool to finally go.
Special moment. Yeah. And so we normally get a picture of ourselves by the sign. This is Paolo, and our server this time, Malini. As we were walking out, she said, "I'll walk you out and I'll take your picture underneath the Chihuly glass sculpture as you come in, and don't miss that if you want a picture of Paolo. That is a great picture. Get your picture right underneath the Chihuly glass. It's a great picture.
For sure.
All right, I'll give you a couple different highlights. Olden was just spectacular.
Yes.
The views and just some of the photos I was able to get, and just the feel of being like not just even a town and a village in Norway was really cool. And then being up there hiking, kind of amongst the rocks and stuff like that, when you think about like Frozen and the trolls that they put in, it's like you see where
that's what it looks like.
you see where that comes from. Just amazing. But I'll give a shout out to Disney with 2 other things. I love the food in Europe over here.
Oh yeah.
I had salmon on the Frozen night, and I was kind of making fun of the Frozen menu a little bit. It was awesome.
It was all good. Yeah.
It's probably the best thing I've had on this week was that salmon, besides Paolo.
Well, yeah.
That mustard salmon on the Frozen menu was really good. And then they do a really good job with the shows over here, too. They had a group called Fly Boys. Fly Guys? Fly Boys.
Fly Boys. Yeah, like the live music that they have around is great.
Yeah, Fly Boys was... they were kind of like a boy band, but they did like mashup hits of... They took stuff and put it into kind of like a 30s, 40s sort of like...
It kind of made it jazzy?
Jazzy, yeah. So they would take different, modern day like pop hits and everything like that, and put it in kind of like a 30s, 40s jazzy style.
Yeah, it was cool.
And that was super fun. And then last night they had
Magician.
What's his name? Raven.
Jamie Raven.
Jamie Raven, who they seem to always.
He came in second on Britain's Got Talent, and the first place winner that year was a three-legged dog.
A three-legged dog that won $1 million, and then Jamie didn't. And he is just a character.
He's funny.
Jamie's
super funny.
His just
the magic is great, but he's actually, I feel like, more comedian than.
Yeah, his demeanor and the way he does his show is excellent.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm totally drawing a blank. The guy from Spain that they usually have on, that we've seen over here. Hector is magic.
Oh, yeah.
Love Hector, and Jamie Raven would just.
Yeah.
You won't do wrong with either one of those over here. So
sure.
We don't normally go to the regular shows anymore because we've seen them enough, but I think they, once again, great music on board. There's a guy named Ellis playing the piano.
Yeah, and Pink and elsewhere.
Yeah, he did a set for Billy Joel. He did a set with the Beatles. I mean, super fun music to go and listen to.
Yeah, for sure.
Around the ship. And then there's a three-legged dog. There's a three-person group that's been playing all different kinds of music from 80s and 90s, which we're going to go see tonight, to country, to blues, and a lot of fun seeing them as well.
The Sailaways.
And then they did a Victrophonics, Disney Victrophonics.
Oh, that's what it was. That's with more of a group.
Yeah, it was part of that the three guys, but then they had a couple of singers, and they had them in the lobby before and after dinner, and they kind of
it was a whole bunch of stuff.
Tap dancing, Disney mashup songs, along with other popular songs.
Yeah, it was great.
That was super fun too. So overall, I said a couple highlights, and we just talked about the whole cruise again.
The whole thing, yeah.
So, anyways, I hope this helps you guys. Hope if you get a chance to go to Norway, it's kind of like Alaska. It's like no other place.
Right. Don't be intimidated.
Don't be intimidated. The fact that the ship parks right downtown is just amazing to me. You're not on a bus for an hour or two to get to the town. And the people are so friendly here. Don't worry about the language. I mean, I hate to say that, but everybody speaks English. Very, very friendly. And yeah, I guess that's about it. It's been a great cruise.
We loved it.
So we're going to get off, and I'm going to try and drive on the
wrong side of the road.
The wrong side of the road, or if you're from England, the right side of the road,
exactly.
as they say. And we're going to spend another 5 days here before we head home. So I hope you enjoyed the snippets, and we look forward to talking to Christy and Lake on our excursion to Norway, maybe answer some of their questions that they have on a different podcast. So all the best to everybody. Safe travels to you and your families wherever your trips may take you. We hope sometime in the future we'll be able to sail with each and every one of you. All the best, guys.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that's going to wrap up our show. Once again, we want to thank Steve for coming on and recording these snippets during their Norwegian Fjords cruise. If you're enjoying the show, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We also like to thank our Patreons who help make this show happen each and every week for us. You too can help support the show by visiting patreon.com/DCL Podcast. Whether you're boarding a cruise, enjoying a trip to the parks, or adventuring outside of Disney, on behalf of myself, Christy, and Steve, we want to wish you smooth sailing and safe travels, and we'll see you next time on the DCL Podcast.
The DCL Podcast is unaffiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.